Welcome back to Who Died Today USA channel. In the past few days, we have received somber news about the passing of extraordinary talents. Today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Additionally, we will recap the stars we have recently lost. Before we begin, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. David Kaff's artistic journey was defined by versatility, a sharp creative edge, and a quiet resilience behind the scenes. Born David Kaffinetti in April 1946, he first carved his name into the annals of progressive rock history as a founding member of Rare Bird, an English band that embodied the experimental spirit of the late 1960s. At a time when synthesizers were still a novelty, Kaff was already pushing their boundaries, lending Rare Bird a distinctive sound that resonated with both fans and critics. The band's 1970 hit Sympathy sold an estimated 1 million copies worldwide, a commercial success that few progressive rock groups of the time could match. Yet behind the scenes, the touring lifestyle and pressures of the evolving music industry weighed heavily. Kaff, known among peers for his introspective demeanor, once hinted in interviews at the emotional toll of rapid success. You learn to wear the noise on your skin, but inside, you're trying to find quiet. His path soon veered into unexpected territory. In 1984, Kaff took on the role of Viv Savage in This Is Spinal Tap, a satirical mockumentary that would become a cult classic. The fictional band's absurdity mirrored much of what he had seen in the real world. Viv was close to me, he reflected in a rare 1991 interview, just a little bit dimmer. Through humor and parody, Kaff subtly channeled the ironies of fame and the contradictions of a musician's life. Though Spinal Tap brought him back to the spotlight, most notably with a live appearance on Saturday Night Live, he soon stepped away from the limelight again, turning to smaller bands like Model Citizens and later Mutual of Alameda's Wild Kingdom. These ventures offered him more creative control and less public scrutiny, aligning better with his temperament. In the later years, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, Kaff embraced visual art. His social media posts revealed a man finding solace in paint and canvas, reconnecting with creation on his own terms. "I'm having a good time," he wrote. "Join me." His journey, marked by shifting genres and evolving media, reflected not just a musician's life, but an artist's quiet pursuit of authenticity in a world often demanding spectacle. James Carter Cathcart's enduring career in entertainment was marked by remarkable versatility, tireless commitment, and a voice that became synonymous with some of the most iconic characters in anime. Best known for his 25-year tenure with the Pokémon franchise, Cathcart gave voice to Professor Oak, Gary Oak, Team Rocket's James, and the irrepressible Meowth. From the show's debut episode through its 25th season, he was a constant, shaping the English-speaking world's connection to the beloved series. His contributions weren't limited to performance. Cathcart was also the sole writer of the English dub scripts for 17 years, guiding the tone, humor, and heart of Pokémon for an entire generation. He reprised his roles in over 700 episodes and more than 15 feature-length films, including the seminal Pokémon, the first movie, 1998, further cementing his place in pop culture history. Beyond Pokémon, Cathcart's voice work was prolific and far-reaching. He portrayed characters like Vector the Crocodile in Sonic X, Weevil Underwood and Loomis in Yu-Gi-Oh!, and lent his talent to One Piece, The Slayers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and many more anime titles. His work extended into commercial voiceovers for major brands such as Kit Kat, Coors Light, and Good Humor, showcasing his dynamic range across media. Before entering voice acting, Cathcart was active in the New York punk scene with the band The Laughing Dogs. Performing at legendary venues like CBGB, he toured alongside Patti Smith Group, Cheap Trick, and Blondie, embodying the raw energy of 1970s rock. The band's song Get Out of My Way would later feature in the 2013 film CBGB, a nod to his musical roots. A gifted pianist and multi-genre musician, Cathcart also performed with luminaries like Dave Brubeck and the Monkees, seamlessly blending jazz, classical, and pop sensibilities. His final years were marked by resilience and gratitude, retiring in 2023 after his cancer diagnosis, but leaving behind a legacy spanning both stage and screen. His work touched millions, bridging generations of viewers and listeners. James Carter Cathcart's career stands as a testament to enduring talent and the timeless power of voice. Michael Madsen, the actor whose fierce screen presence and gravelly voice etched him into cinematic memory, died of cardiac arrest on July 3, 2025. He was 67. Best known for his long-standing collaboration with director Quentin Tarantino, Madsen became an enduring figure in American independent cinema. His breakout role as Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs, 1992, remains one of the most chilling and iconic in modern film. With a calm brutality and haunting confidence, Madsen's performance in the ear-cutting scene shocked audiences and defined a generation of neo-noir filmmaking. Roger Ebert noted Madsen's ability to emerge with the kind of really menacing screen presence only a few actors achieve. It was a performance that cemented his legacy and helped launch Tarantino's career. Yet behind the fearsome persona was a man grappling with private pain. Madsen faced the devastating loss of his son Hudson in 2022, a tragedy that profoundly affected his later years. Those close to him described his grief as quiet but deep. In interviews, Madsen hinted at regret, vulnerability, and emotional fatigue, a contrast to the hardened roles he often portrayed. His struggle became a poignant thread in his work, visible in his final leading performance in Mr. Wonderful, where he played a father confronting generational trauma. Born in Chicago in 1957, Madsen began acting at Steppenwolf Theater under the mentorship of John Malkovich. His filmography spanned 4 decades and included Kill Bill, Volume 2, Donnie Brasco, The Hateful Eight, and Sin City, as well as voice work in major video games. He was also a poet and photographer, often using art to process his inner turmoil. Madsen is survived by his children and his sister, actress Virginia Madsen. Though marked by both triumph and personal sorrow, his life was one of raw expression and unforgettable presence. He didn't just play men with demons, he made us feel them. Julian McMahon, known worldwide for his suave roles in Nip, Tuck, Charmed, and Fantastic Four, passed away on July 2, 2025, at age 56. But while fans remember the characters he brought to life, his most powerful story may be the one he never told: his quiet battle with cancer. For years, McMahon fought metastatic cancer that began in the head and neck and eventually spread to his lungs. Remarkably, he kept this struggle out of the public eye. At a time when celebrities often document every health update, McMahon chose silence, not out of denial, but from a deep sense of dignity. It was a decision that reflected how he lived: private, focused, and deeply human. His diagnosis did not halt his work. In fact, he continued acting through the pain, delivering performances with the same intensity and charm that defined his career. His final appearances in Netflix's The Residence and the 2024 film The Surfer are a testament to his resilience and love for storytelling. While audiences saw strength in his roles, his family saw courage in the everyday, pushing through treatment, staying present, and never once letting the disease define him. In a statement, his wife, Kelly McMahon, shared, "His deepest wish was to bring joy into as many lives as possible." That he did, not only on screen, but in the grace with which he carried his illness. To his daughter, Madison, his fans and fellow actors like Alyssa Milano and Holly Marie Combs, Julian's quiet bravery offered a different kind of heroism. Julian McMahon may have played many faces, but it was his unseen fight that revealed his truest self, a man of strength, humility, and unwavering grace. Val Kilmer, a star who once commanded the screen with his charisma and range, spent the final decade of his life fighting a battle few saw and fewer could imagine. A war not against fading fame, but against the loss of his voice. Diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, Kilmer faced a devastating transformation. The man who once embodied rock legend Jim Morrison in The Doors and the enigmatic Doc Holliday in Tombstone underwent a tracheostomy that permanently damaged his vocal cords. "It isn't easy to talk and be understood," he wrote in 2022, years after the surgery. For someone whose art was deeply tied to voice, expression, and intensity, losing that fundamental tool was a spiritual and professional reckoning. Yet Kilmer never succumbed to despair. Instead, he embraced transparency and resilience, chronicling his journey in his memoir, I'm Your Huckleberry, and the deeply personal documentary, Val, narrated in part by his son, Jack. Rather than hide, Kilmer chose to evolve. He shared his story not as a tragedy, but as a lesson in gratitude. "I've lived a magical life," he once wrote, a perspective forged not from comfort, but from enduring hardship with dignity. On April 1st, 2025, Kilmer died from pneumonia at the age of 65, with underlying causes including chronic respiratory failure linked to his cancer. But long before his passing, he'd already left his mark, not just through his iconic roles, but through his example of courage in silence. His was a voice that shaped a generation of cinema, and when it fell quiet, it still found ways to be heard. Through film, family, and the fierce honesty of a man who turned loss into legacy. Rufus Lee Cooper III, known to the world as Young Noble, was more than a rapper. He was a trusted voice in the legacy of Tupac Shakur, a lyrical soldier in the iconic hip-hop group Outlawz. But behind the music and militant verses, Noble faced a battle that too many endure silently: mental illness. Noble joined Outlawz in 1996, handpicked by Tupac himself just months before the rapper's tragic death. His presence was immediate and memorable, contributing to 4 tracks on Tupac's posthumous album, The Don Killuminati. The 7-Day Theory, including the legendary Hail Mary. Noble's voice became part of a movement, his lyrics echoing with resilience and raw truth. Yet even as he carried the torch of Tupac's mission for truth and justice in hip-hop, Noble faced internal battles that the public rarely saw. On July 4th, 2025, he died by suicide at the age of 47 in Atlanta. His death shocked fans and peers alike, igniting conversations around mental health in the hip-hop community. His final Instagram post, shared just 2 weeks before his death, was a message of hope. You're going to make it. So, hold on, be strong, and don't give up. It was a haunting reminder that even those offering strength to others can be silently suffering. Tributes poured in from fellow artists like Snoop Dogg and longtime friend EDI. Mean, who mourned the loss of a brother and partner of over 30 years. Noble's passing became a stark wake-up call. Mental illness is real, and checking on loved ones is not optional. it's necessary. Young Noble's legacy goes beyond his verses. He was a symbol of loyalty, brotherhood, and the unseen battles artists often endure. His life and death now speak louder than any lyric, urging a culture to confront pain with compassion. Sophia Hutchins, who tragically passed away at 29 in a devastating ATV accident on July 2, 2025, was more than just a close friend to Caitlyn Jenner. She was a visionary entrepreneur and a steady force behind one of the most public transitions in modern celebrity culture. Hutchins entered Jenner's life in 2015, a pivotal moment when Caitlyn came out as transgender. Their connection quickly evolved into a deep, familial bond. While media speculation swirled about the nature of their relationship, Hutchins consistently asserted that their partnership was rooted in mutual respect, personal growth, and business. "Caitlyn is a parent to me," she once said. It is a parental, familial relationship. In 2017, she moved into Jenner's Malibu home and gradually assumed the role of Jenner's manager, succeeding Kris Jenner. This marked a major turning point, not only for Sophia's career, but also in reframing her public image. She wasn't merely an assistant or a housemate. She was the strategist, the negotiator, and the executive voice behind Caitlyn's brand. Beyond her managerial role, Hutchins was a driven entrepreneur. A graduate of Pepperdine University with a degree in economics and finance, she founded Lumisol, a health tech company focused on UV skincare innovation. Her professional pursuits reflected a balance of aesthetic sensibility and business acumen. Navigating the media-saturated world of the Kardashian-Jenner family could be overwhelming, yet Hutchins stood out for her poise and clarity. She handled attention with discretion, representing a new kind of influencer, one who led from behind the scenes, shaping narratives rather than chasing them. Sophia Hutchins's story is one of elegance under pressure and leadership forged in the shadows of fame. In a world where visibility often overshadows substance, she built a quiet legacy rooted in loyalty, ambition, and a profound understanding of identity and power. Brian Wilson, the visionary behind the Beach Boys' sun-soaked harmonies and groundbreaking studio wizardry, spent a lifetime straddling the line between brilliance and breakdown. While his music defined an era, his mind was often a battleground, a place where beauty and torment coexisted. At the height of his career in the 1960s, Wilson redefined pop music. Albums like Pet Sounds and tracks like God Only Knows and Good Vibrations weren't just hits. They were symphonic revolutions. But behind the control room glass, the composer was unraveling. Diagnosed later in life with schizoaffective disorder, Wilson began hearing voices, hallucinations that plagued him for decades. He withdrew from live performances, isolated himself, and turned increasingly to drugs and alcohol. For years, his genius was muted by mental illness, misunderstood by a world that only saw the headlines. His decline was heartbreaking. Often bedridden under the care of controversial therapists and estranged from his bandmates, Wilson's golden years were shadowed by confusion, paranoia, and fragility. It wasn't until the 1990s, with better support and cautious steps back into public life, that he slowly reclaimed fragments of his legacy. In his final years, Wilson suffered from dementia and was placed under conservatorship following his wife Melinda's death in 2024. His passing on June 11, 2025, at age 82, was due to respiratory arrest, compounded by chronic health conditions. But even as his body failed, his melodies endured. Brian Wilson's story isn't just about music. It's about survival. It's about creating symphonies while silencing demons. It's about a fragile genius who taught us that vulnerability and creativity are forever entwined. He didn't just change music. He changed what it meant to be an artist living with mental illness. And in doing so, he gave permission for future generations to find harmony in their own chaos. Anne Burrell wasn't just a chef. She was a mentor, a fireball of energy, and the heart behind Worst Cooks in America, one of Food Network's most transformative shows. Her unexpected death at 55 left a void in the culinary world, but her impact lives on in every once hopeless home cook she empowered. With her trademark platinum blonde hair and bold personality, Burrell brought flair and warmth to kitchens across the country. But nowhere was her influence more profound than on Worst Cooks in America, where she coached complete novices, often people who couldn't boil water, into confident culinary contenders. Across 27 seasons, she didn't just judge dishes, she changed lives. Burrell's coaching style was part drill sergeant, part cheerleader. She believed in her recruits, even when they didn't believe in themselves. Through patience, humor, and tough love, she guided hundreds of contestants from culinary disasters to producing restaurant-worthy meals. "If people want to learn, I absolutely love to teach them," she once said, a mantra that defined her television legacy. Her effectiveness as a teacher stemmed from deep roots. A graduate of the Culinary Institute of America, she later returned to teach there, bringing that same commitment to Worst Cooks. She reminded audiences that cooking isn't just a skill, it's a form of self-expression, self-care, and connection. While Anne Burrell had many achievements, TV shows, cookbooks, charitable work, it was her ability to reach those who felt hopeless in the kitchen that made her unforgettable. She didn't just elevate culinary standards, she elevated people. Anne proved that even the worst can be transformed with guidance, kindness, and a lot of garlic. For nearly 5 decades, Leslie Charleson brought grace, depth, and unwavering strength to the halls of Port Charles General Hospital. As Dr. Monica Quartermaine, she became more than a character. She was an institution. Her sudden passing at age 79 leaves behind not just a profound void in daytime television, but a towering legacy of storytelling. Charleson first stepped into Monica's shoes in 1977, and over the course of more than 2,000 episodes, she navigated scandal, love, grief, and triumph with unmatched authenticity. Audiences watched Monica evolve from a brilliant surgeon to the resilient matriarch of the Quartermaine family. Through it all, Charleson infused the role with warmth, sharp wit, and emotional nuance that resonated with generations of fans. Her longevity on General Hospital was not just a testament to her talent, but to her extraordinary work ethic. She became the show's longest-serving cast member, embodying continuity in a genre often known for rapid changes. Few actors ever get the chance to grow alongside a role so intimately, and fewer still leave such an indelible mark. Even as newer faces came and went, Charleson remained a central force on screen. Her chemistry with co-stars, both veteran and fresh, helped anchor the show through decades of evolution. Her presence symbolized stability for the cast and comfort for the audience. Leslie Charleson's final appearance aired in December 2023. Behind the scenes, she was remembered by colleagues as a beloved mentor, an animal lover, and a fiercely dedicated actress. Her legacy is one of endurance, artistry, and deep human connection. A life lived fully through the transformative power of performance. Dame Joan Plowright, one of Britain's most versatile and enduring actresses, leaves behind a legacy that extends far beyond the stage lights and cinema screens. While she was often referred to as Lady Olivier, the widow of Sir Laurence Olivier, Joan carved out her own monumental path in the performing arts, marked by quiet tenacity, artistic independence, and a career that spanned 7 decades. Her most notable success came later in life, when many actors fade from the spotlight. After years of celebrated theater roles in classics like The Seagull and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Plowright transitioned to the silver screen, earning her only Oscar nomination in 1991 for Enchanted April. That same year, she achieved a rare feat, winning 2 Golden Globes in one night, including one for the film Stalin. It was a stunning resurgence, demonstrating that talent endures regardless of age or visibility. Despite marrying one of the most iconic actors of the 20th century, Plowright never allowed her identity to be eclipsed. In fact, the marriage brought both public admiration and private turmoil. Still, she pressed forward, not just as Olivier's partner, but as a powerful actress and mother of 3 future artists. "I loved him so much I would have died for him," she once said, "but there were times when I didn't know how to live with him." Diagnosed with macular degeneration, Plowright retired in 2014 after becoming legally blind. Yet her spirit remained unbroken. In her final years, she appeared in the documentary Tea with the Dames, reflecting candidly on life, fame, and womanhood in the arts. Valerie Mahaffey's Emmy win in 1992 for her performance as Eve in Northern Exposure remains a defining moment in a career built on intelligence, nuance, and sly humor. While her screen time spanned only 5 episodes across 3 seasons, Mahaffey managed to steal every scene with a performance that was both eccentric and emotionally grounded. It was this rare combination that earned her the Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series, beating out higher-profile contenders and solidifying her place among television's elite. Her portrayal of Eve, a wealthy hypochondriac with a wild imagination, resonated with audiences and critics alike. What made Mahaffey's performance unforgettable wasn't the overt drama, but the precision of her delivery, an ability to make even the quietest neurosis sparkle. She gave her character depth that stretched beyond comedic timing, layering vulnerability beneath the quirky exterior. That, Emmy Viscurai, marked a turning point in Mahaffey's trajectory, giving her access to a range of roles that highlighted her versatility. From scheming Alma Hodge in Desperate Housewives to the uptight but loving Victoria in Young Sheldon, Mahaffey became a familiar and welcome presence on American television. Her film credits, including Seabiscuit, Sully, and French Exit, for which she earned an Independent Spirit Award nomination, only broadened her artistic footprint. Beyond the screen, Mahaffey brought gravitas to the stage, winning 2 Obie Awards and earning acclaim for roles in plays like Top Girls and Talking Heads. Despite these successes, Mahaffey maintained a low profile, choosing work that spoke to her artistically over celebrity appeal. Her passing on May 30th, 2025, after a battle with cancer, brought an outpouring of tributes from fans and colleagues who remembered her as much for her warmth as her wit. Kenneth Colley may not have wielded a lightsaber or donned a Jedi robe, but his portrayal of Admiral Piet in the Star Wars universe left an enduring impact that belied his character's understated presence. Colley, who died peacefully on June 30th, 2025, at the age of 87, carved out a unique space in one of the most iconic film franchises of all time, not through flamboyance, but with quiet, calculated command. Introduced in The Empire Strikes Back, 1980, Admiral Piet was the rare Imperial officer who survived Darth Vader's infamous wrath, eventually rising to command the Executor in Return of the Jedi, 1983. Colley brought nuance to the role, portraying a man torn between ambition and fear. Fans recognized something special in Piet's subtly complex expressions, conflicted loyalty, quiet defiance, and restrained panic that few other secondary characters delivered. His performance resonated so deeply with the Star Wars fan base that Colley became a staple at conventions and fan events for decades. In 2012, nearly 30 years after his first appearance, he reprised Piet in the animated Lego Star Wars. The Empire Strikes Out, a testament to the characters' and actors' staying power. Outside the galaxy far, far away, Colley's career spanned 6 decades with credits in television, stage, and film. He was known for roles in Ken Russell films, BBC adaptations like Measure for Measure, and even a turn as Jesus in Monty Python's Life of Brian. Yet, it was Admiral Piet that immortalized him. His final days were marked by a fall that led to an arm injury, followed by hospitalization where he contracted COVID-19, which progressed to pneumonia. Despite the unfortunate circumstances, he passed peacefully, surrounded by friends. Colley's legacy isn't just in his filmography, but in the legions of fans who continue to celebrate his quiet authority and dignified defiance. In a franchise filled with heroes and villains, Kenneth Colley made room for the complex human somewhere in between. Breaking news. Today we explore the extraordinary journey of a man whose gentle wit, quiet charm, and fierce resilience have captivated audiences for over 3 decades. Hugh Grant, once a shy boy reciting BBC announcers in his living room, would grow to become an international symbol of romantic comedy and dramatic reinvention. But behind the polished screen persona lies a life marked by adversity, introspection, and triumph over personal health and emotional struggles. How did this unassuming Englishman redefine fame on his own terms? Let us dive into the compelling story of Hugh Grant, the actor, the survivor, and the enduring craftsman. Hugh John Grant was born on September 9, 1960, in Hammersmith, West London, into a family where intelligence, humor, and quiet ambition were treasured. His mother, Finvola, a dedicated schoolteacher, nurtured his early love for the arts through music, Latin, and literature. His father, James, a former military officer turned carpet salesman, taught him the value of adaptability and endurance. Their modest red brick home in Chiswick was far from Hollywood glamour, but it was there that Grant first discovered the thrill of performance, delivering mock news broadcasts atop an overturned crate, captivating relatives with youthful mimicry. His early life was filled with school plays, rainy backyard cricket matches, and evenings spent listening to his mother read plays aloud. Even in his youth, Grant sensed that charm was not just a gift, but a defense, a necessary tool in a world where outward cheer often masked inner fragility. This understanding would shape not only his career, but his approach to life. It was also in these formative years that Grant discovered his fondness for rhythm, timing, and the understated power of silence. His earliest imitations were not just for laughs, but for attention, a means of connecting with an audience, even if it was only family. And that subtle awareness of connection, the sense that performance was as much about listening as speaking, would become his signature. At Hogarth Primary, Grant's improvisational sketches earned both detentions and laughter. His talent secured him a scholarship to Latimer Upper School, where he met future comedian Ben Elton and began exploring satire. Eventually, he was accepted to New College, Oxford, where he read English literature. Though he arrived with dreams of joining the university's famed dramatic society, early auditions resulted in rejection. Doubt crept in. But through persistence and long nights spent studying restoration comedies, he earned his break as Lord Adrian in Love for Love. That role, and a comedic writing award under the pseudonym H. Lamb, reignited his confidence. He financed his studies by modeling in catalogs, working shifts at art house cinemas, and teaching English abroad. These odd jobs taught him discipline, humility, and the performative value of public image. After directing a modern adaptation of Hamlet, set in Thatcher-era London, a mentor urged him, "Scholarship can wait. Chance cannot." Grant took the advice to heart. Oxford also taught Grant something else, that intelligence could be playful. His academic pursuits ran parallel to a growing appreciation for the absurdities of life. He began writing parodies, scribbling movie dialogue in notebooks, and staying up late to practice comedic delivery in front of mirrors. He studied not only Shakespeare, but screwball comedy. Cary Grant, David Niven, and Rex Harrison became personal guides. Arriving in London in the early 1980s with only 2 suits and a battered briefcase, Grant faced rejection after rejection. He joined a sketch group, performing in pubs above noisy crowds. Casting directors were unsure how to place him. His refined accent and self-deprecating manner clashed with the rugged styles popular at the time. Bit parts came and went, a fringe adaptation of Balzac, a role in The Last Place on Earth, but money remained tight. Then came Maurice, 1987, a drama about forbidden love. It brought awards attention, but little financial reward. He kept afloat by voicing commercials for shampoo and dragging secondhand costumes across rain-slicked streets to late-night rehearsals, yet something shifted. He discovered that sincerity could be as powerful as wit, that vulnerability could move an audience. Still, the breakthrough felt distant. This phase in his life tested his resolve. Nights on the night bus rehearsing lines, days spent queuing at casting offices, and moments of doubt in dingy bedsits became the rhythm of his existence. It was not glamour, but grit. And grit, he would later reflect, is what makes a romantic believable. Not perfection, but perseverance. In 1994, Grant auditioned for a small British romantic comedy titled 4 Weddings and a Funeral. The film's writer, Richard Curtis, saw something special. Kakadidu, a mixture. Praspikais, awkward grace and emotional honesty. The role transformed Grant from a struggling actor into a global romantic lead. The success was explosive. The film became the highest-grossing British movie of its time. And Grant's image, charming, stammering, subtly melancholic, became a new archetype. Yet, beneath the sudden fame, he remained grounded. The night before filming began, he rehearsed in his tiny room, pacing nervously, imagining worst-case scenarios. That quiet panic became part of his ritual. Prepare obsessively, perform effortlessly. Grant's sudden rise was not without pressure. He was thrust into the media spotlight, asked to embody a national identity he had not claimed for himself. But he handled it with grace. Behind the bumbling screen character was a man fiercely aware of the performance it required, and determined to keep the shy boy from Chiswick safe within. Following the success of 4 Weddings, Grant starred opposite Julianne Moore in 9 Months and with Julia Roberts in the timeless Notting Hill, where his portrayal of a bumbling bookseller elevated the genre once more. In Bridget Jones's Diary, he flipped the script, playing a roguish antagonist, and in About a Boy, he revealed a deeper emotional range, earning Golden Globe and BAFTA nominations. Refusing to be typecast, Grant ventured into satire, 2 Weeks' Notice, musical comedy, music and lyrics, and ultimately, genre-defying roles that challenged expectations. In Cloud Atlas, he played multiple characters, including villains, showing transformative depth. In Paddington 2, his flamboyant villain won over critics and audiences alike. Television welcomed a new version of Grant, more complex, more daring. His performances in A Very English Scandal and The Undoing introduced him to a new generation, proving that charm, when paired with nuance, could be endlessly versatile. And with each project, Grant demonstrated an instinct for timing, not just in delivery, but in career choices. He stepped back when the genre wore thin, returned with sharper tools, and allowed age to expand his range. The romantic lead had grown into the complex character actor, always unpredictable, always precise. While his professional life soared, Hugh Grant's personal journey was marked by profound health challenges, both physical and emotional. His mother's long illness and passing in 2001 due to pancreatic complications was a seismic loss. The woman who had first applauded his living room skits was gone. The grief was silent but deep, and Grant turned to fundraising and awareness campaigns in her memory. By 2007, the combination of public pressures, global travel, and unresolved sorrow culminated in an emotional collapse during a family holiday. He later described weeks of sudden tears, unexplained anxiety, and overwhelming fatigue. Speaking with candor on talk shows, he called it both terrifying and liberating. The moment the comic mask finally slipped. From that point forward, Grant embraced therapy, mindfulness, and strict personal boundaries. He began treating mental health like any muscle, something to be exercised, supported, and respected. His daily routine now includes long walks, structured downtime, and quiet reading rituals that offer solace between projects. In 2020, Grant faced another serious health scare. Just before testing became widely available, he and his wife Anna experienced a wave of symptoms that left them breathless and exhausted. Later confirmed to be a viral infection, it marked one of the most physically distressing experiences of his life. He humorously recalled pacing around rooms, sniffing garbage and perfume, trying to recover his sense of smell. He endured sleepless nights, rapid heartbeat, and waves of fear. But through careful rest, hydration, and family support, he regained strength. By 2023, he was fencing on set, attributing his resilience to a new appreciation for simplicity, clean air, restful naps, and the smell of fresh bread on a London street. These experiences, though painful, reconnected him to his body and mind. He speaks openly about anxiety now, about the importance of listening inwardly, about building strength not just in muscle, but in self-awareness. Today, Grant splits his time between a leafy home in Notting Hill and a tranquil lakeside retreat in Sweden. With his wife, Anna Eberstein, and 5 children from different relationships, he finds joy in early morning routines, bike rides, and spontaneous family sing-offs. Though he has always protected his family from the spotlight, their presence has grounded him. His once chaotic schedule is now color-coded, with filming capped at short intervals and recovery time prioritized. He writes by hand, revises dialogue with care, and still fights for the right to privacy, especially after being targeted by illegal press activities in the past. Old friendships endure. His bond with Elizabeth Hurley, godmother to one of his children, remains a quiet testament to loyalty beyond headlines. Weekends are for roast dinners and low-key laughter, not flashing cameras. Grant has said that fatherhood has transformed his understanding of time, of legacy, and of patience. The actor once known for disappearing into characters now delights in being present for school pickups and bedtime stories. Grant has never chased fame for its own sake. He has used it, first to entertain, then to influence, and finally, to serve. From supporting cancer research in his mother's name to quietly funding safety initiatives on film sets, his impact stretches beyond the screen. His performances have evolved from charming leads to complex characters who question their own roles, a mirror to his personal journey. And as he prepares to reprise roles in beloved franchises, take on psychological thrillers with studios like A24, and lend his voice to animated adventures, one thing is clear. Hugh Grant is not finished. He is not merely the face of 1990s British romance. He is the voice of reinvention, the proof that humor and heartache can coexist, and the reminder that true resilience often lies behind the quietest smiles. He reminds us that fame, when handled with humility and purpose, can be a force for good, a platform not only for art, but for advocacy, healing, and human connection. What moment in Hugh Grant's story resonated with you most? Is it the fierce comeback, the quiet healing, or the surprising twists in his career? Share your thoughts in the comments below and celebrate a journey that continues to inspire with its honesty, elegance, and undeniable human spirit. If this story touched you, please like and subscribe for more heartfelt portraits of the world's most captivating artists. Thank you for joining us in honoring Hugh Grant, a man who turned hesitation into art and pain into purpose.